So one of the things I thought might be useful would be to teach you how to make mashed potatoes from scratch. So let's get started. I just grabbed a bag of russet potatoes from Walmart. They're kind of mixed sizes. If I'm gonna make mashed potatoes, I usually do about one potato per person. That's really ample, more than you need, but that's like, this is a big potato. Let me show you. So this is like one potato in the same, ooh, that one's nasty. Look at that. Ugh, that one's going to the garbage. In the same bag, there's this second potato. That's a good thing to note. Rotten potatoes tend to spread. So if you ever find one, you definitely want to throw it out immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and do about 4 potatoes. The first thing I'm going to do is the question, there's always a question about, do you peel or not peel? There's a lot of nutrients in the peel, but I find that if you leave a lot of peel in there, it's just, I don't like a lot of peel. Some people like a lot of peel. If you're not gonna peel it, you scrub them really well. If you are gonna peel it, you don't have to scrub them because you're gonna rinse them. You're gonna have all that dirt that's gonna get on your hands and onto the potato, and you're gonna have to wash them afterwards. So you choose. I'm gonna probably leave the peel of 1 potato in the mashed potatoes, and the other 3, I'm gonna take the peel off. This is my potato peeler. I really do like the OXO brand because it's soft on my hand. So I'm just going to peel them. Some people, I always grew up peeling it toward me, but apparently that's not always a good thing. So some people peel it away from you. It's like whenever I do that, it like flops all over. I don't know. I'm not good at that. I tend to hold it, support it with my thumb, and bring it toward me. Probably not the safest thing, but that's what I do. If you come across nasty parts like this in your potato, the tip of your potato peeler has a little thing that you can gouge, out with. Sorry, it's hard to show that while I'm videoing. See that? You can kind of gouge that out. Hold it, gouge it out. And that's what that tip of your potato peeler is for. That hard point with a little hollowed out part. It's to pull out those eyes. Okay, I've scrubbed all my potatoes, or rinsed these guys, scrubbed this one. And I'm going to now cut my potatoes into chunks. Now, all my potatoes are different sizes, but I'm going to go ahead and I want them to be in about all the same size. So I'm going to cut them into chunks. And I think this one looks like it would be nicely done in thirds. And then you can see I have my pan of water kind of standing by. It's just water, nothing in it right now. This one's a slightly bigger potato, so I'm probably going to cut it into smaller chunks so they are roughly the same size as the one that I just did. This one probably go into quarters, which are really eighths because we divided it in half. Okay, so I'm going to do that till they're all done. Okay, so all my potatoes are in there. I don't have anything else in there, just water and potatoes. And I had a little bit of extra water, so I poured some of that off. I want my potatoes covered with water, and I'm going to add some salt to this. It's not really a measured amount. It's just enough to help the water boil a little faster and give a little flavor to the potatoes. Okay, here's my salt coming in. Let's see here, if I just do a little bit like that. So I guess that was about a half a teaspoon. And now I'm going to put my potatoes on the stove, and they're going to come to boil, and they're going to boil for about 20 minutes. I'll show you. Okay, it's been about 17 minutes, and you can see it's starting to boil. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it boil for about 20 minutes, but we're going to check toward the end of that, and we're going to see if it's tender. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, I don't normally pull it out like this, but I'm going to do that so that you can see. Okay, so I'm going to pull something out, and I'm going to see how this just does not stab in there. That is just not tender at all. That's not going to turn into mashed potatoes. So we're going to let this boil for about another 15 minutes. I'll set a timer. And then after 15 minutes, we'll check it and see how it's doing. Okay, it's been boiling for about 10 minutes now. And you can see it's starting to get a little bit softer. It's getting there. See how that's going in there? But it's not quite, so I'm going to let it continue to boil. Part of the time of, like this little one is probably ready to go. Oh yeah, see that's really ready. But some of these bigger ones aren't quite ready. part of bringing the water up to boil also brings the potatoes up to temperature so they boil, faster, or so they get soft faster. So we'll just let that boil for a little bit longer and then we'll drain the water. Okay, I have 1 minute and 56 seconds, so roughly 2 minutes left on my timer. And I had set 15 minutes on my timer. But these are, well, this one's not quite done. This was one of the biggest ones. The small ones are definitely done, and the biggest ones are not quite done. If we drain it and start it before all the potatoes are soft, you'll end up with lumps. But if you wait too long to drain it, your potatoes will just kind of disintegrate in your water. So it's a balancing act. You want to make sure that everything is soft all the way through, and then stop. So I'm going to go ahead and let this timer run out. I've got a little bit over 1 minute left, and then I'm going to drain the potatoes from the water from the potatoes. Okay, the timer ran out. I'm going to go ahead and just put the lid on slightly ajar and then dump the water from the potatoes. If I leave a little water in there, I don't mind that, because then it just makes the potatoes a little more moist. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to put it in my mixing bowl. Okay, I have a KitchenAid stand mixer, but any bowl and regular hand mixer will also work. So I'm going to put my potatoes in here. Okay, I'm going to take some butter and put it in the microwave and just soften it, and then I'm going to add it to my potatoes. Okay, some food scientist at one point in time, from them I learned that if you add the butter first, it helps your potatoes turn out a little better. So I always try to add the butter, mix that up a little bit, add some salt and pepper, and some milk. This is just a starting point. I just want to mix that butter in. But this is kind of where mashed potato art starts. Some people like to add yogurt. They like to add sour cream. They like to add bacon bits. So that's where you get your flavors in your mashed potatoes. This is just going to be a straight basic mashed potato recipe. So we're just going to do butter. I use half and half, and salt and pepper, and it's just going to be simple mashed potatoes. So let's get the other ingredients going. Potatoes by themselves are pretty bland, so I like to add, a fair amount of salt. That looks like about a teaspoon, and maybe a half a teaspoon of pepper, and then some half and half, and then I season it to taste after that. So that's kind of like a starting point, and then we go from there. Mix it up firmly, and then you have to mush all the edges up, mush them down that are kind of pushed up around the edges of the bowl. Okay, let's see how this is. Good. We've got a few little tiny lumps in there, and that's okay. Homemade mashed potatoes are almost never completely lump-free, but it just shows they're made with love. Some more final mixing. See if we can get rid of some of those lumps, but we don't want to overmix. Okay, looks delicious. Serve that with some gravy and put some more butter, a pat of butter on the top of your mashed potatoes, and that will be delicious. I always taste it kind of as I'm going through though. Like if it's a little bit dry, I'll usually add more half and half, maybe a little butter, but I just kind of taste it and adjust it to my flavor, my personal tastes. This looks good and it tastes good, so I think we're good. So put it in a serving bowl, and that's what it looks like. Delicious, ready to go. Mashed potatoes take about an hour from start to finish. So before you start this, allocate an hour, and you'll be ready to go. Delicious, yummy, and enjoy your mashed potatoes.